All right, let's get into it. We spend so much time thinking about the smart gadgets on our walls, on our counters, but what if the next giant leap forward is, well, literally right above our heads? Today, we're taking a look at a company called SKYX and asking a really interesting question. Is the future of the smart home actually hiding in your ceiling?
So be honest. Think about the last time you had to install a new light fixture or a ceiling fan. If you're anything like me, the thought alone probably made you groan. It's one of those jobs around the house that feels like it should be super simple, but it almost never is.
And that's because you immediately run into what we can call the ceiling problem, right? You're teetering on a ladder trying to be an electrician with this jumble of confusing wires. It can take hours. And the whole time, in the back of your mind, you're thinking about the very real risk of falling, or even worse, causing a short or an electrical fire. The whole process is just dangerously outdated. So what's the fix? Well, just imagine this for a second. What if installing a ceiling fan was as easy as plugging in a lamp? What if your ceiling had a universal outlet just like the ones you have all over your walls? And that is the absolute core idea behind SKYX technology. They've created a standardized universal power outlet specifically for the ceiling. It's a genuine plug-and-play system that lets pretty much anyone install a heavy fixture in literally seconds. No tools, and most importantly, no fumbling around with live wires. I mean, the difference here is just night and day. On the left, you've got the old way, a whole checklist of turning off breakers, untwisting wire knots, and needing a ton of patience. But on the right, you see the SKYX way. Once that base is in, changing a fixture is just a simple plug, push, and turn. All that complexity, it just evaporates. And here it is, broken down even simpler. So the key is, a professional installs the main Sky outlet one time, just once. After that, you, the homeowner, can swap out fixtures whenever you feel like it. You just connect your light or fan to the matching Sky plug, then push it up and turn it to lock it into the ceiling. It really is that simple. And look, this isn't just some clever little gadget. This is a seriously engineered system. SKYX has more than 60 patents. It's gotten the seal of approval from critical safety organizations like the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and it's won 7 different innovation awards from the Consumer Electronics Show. That is some serious validation. But, a great idea only gets you so far, right? The real test is always about execution and whether people are actually buying it. So let's take a look at how SKYX is actually doing as a business. Let's just start with the big number. In the third quarter of 2025, SKYX brought in record revenues of $24 million. And that $24 million, it wasn't a fluke. It actually marked their seventh consecutive quarter of revenue growth. That shows a really steady, consistent pattern that, investors absolutely love to see. And they're not just growing sales, they're growing efficiently. For that same quarter, their gross margin was a super healthy 32%, which is a really key indicator of a company's financial strength and profitability. This chart really just puts that momentum into perspective, showing that clear, steady quarter-over-quarter climb. So we're seeing a company with consistent, profitable growth. But the question is, where is all that growth coming from? Well, that growth isn't just some numbers on a spreadsheet. It's coming from turning this awesome concept into a concrete reality through some absolutely massive real-world projects. Just look at the scale we're talking about here. They're supplying over 500,000 units for a $3 billion smart city project down in Miami. They've got deals to put hundreds of thousands of units in homes and hotels in the Middle East. And get this, even a single 278 apartment project in Austin, Texas, means over 10,000 units. This is huge scale adoption. And it's not just about building new places. They've already successfully demonstrated their tech in a Marriott hotel renovation. Getting buy-in from a major brand like Marriott is a huge stamp of approval. It just opens the door to the entire massive hospitality industry. You can see their strategy is really multi-channel. They're teaming up with retail giants like Home Depot and Wayfair for the everyday consumer. They're partnering with leading manufacturers like Parrots Uncle, and they're working with major hotel owners like the Shaner Group. They're hitting this from every angle. So this all leads us to the company's biggest, most audacious goal. See, they don't just want to sell a successful product. They want to fundamentally change the rulebook for how we build our homes. And this is the kicker. SKYX is actively working to make their ceiling outlet a mandatory safety feature required by the National Electrical Code.
They've even brought the former head of the NEC on board to spearhead this. If they succeed, their technology goes from being a smart choice to being a legal requirement for all new construction. That's a game changer.
And that whole effort is just captured perfectly in their own vision statement, to make homes and buildings safe and smart as the new standard. It's a really bold mission that completely reframes their product not just as a convenience, but as an absolute necessity. Which brings us all the way back to our original question. With its incredible simplicity, its proven success in the market, and this huge push to become a mandatory safety standard, SKYX is making a really powerful case. It really makes you wonder, is the next revolution in how we live hiding in plain sight, right above our heads?